Hi, my name is Hank Friedman. I'm a reviewer of astrology software and also a purveyor of astrology software. I've written for the Mountain Astrologer and many other journals, and also have the website soulhealing.com, where I look at many different programs. I also devoted a website to the new version of Janus because it's so outstanding. You can visit www.janus6.com to learn more about the program. Not all of you may now have known that Janus has been around for quite a while, and it keeps getting to be more and more powerful in its features. And of course, they keep adding and improving the ones that are already there. So I'd like to go over some of the new features of Janus 6, and you can learn a lot more at www.janus6.com. When you start the program, you can see that there are several chart files over here that you can open, with some with famous people's charts, and a chart wheel, and many choices both in icons and pull-down menus. Let's say you want to see a different kind of chart wheel. You would right-click on a chart and choose Wheel Style, move the window over so you can actually see the wheels change as you choose different wheel styles, and then click on different wheels. Notice there's lots and lots and lots of wheels to choose from. However, Janus 6 adds wheels that have never been available anywhere else. For instance, if you want to see the Arabic lunar mansions around the outside, their boundaries, or signs and constellations, including Ophiuchus, if that's how you pronounce it, or decans. Many traditional astrologers want a decan wheel or a novenaria wheel or a duodecima wheel on the outside, or even several at times. This one shows terms, decans, and duodecima all around the same wheel, which really helps you place planets carefully. And notice there's even lines for each planet showing you exactly where they fall, which is very skillful to do. In addition, there are nakshatra glyph wheels and nakshatra number wheels if you're doing Vedic astrology. But as they say, but wait, there's more. You can not only call up all different kinds of wheels, but unlike any other astrology program, Janus has a easy-to-use wheel designer where you can design basically every kind of wheel they offer. Square wheels, edit and design any kind of wheel they offer. North Indian, South Indian, Uranian wheels, Greek wheels, single round wheels. And you go to the single round wheels, and for instance, if we go to proportional, we can then modify an existing wheel or create a new one. Let's modify an existing wheel and choose one, and there it is. And you see on the right, there's all different easy to choose options where you can add or remove items from the wheel. It's really a pretty impressive and powerful module, which, as I said, I think there's only one wheel designer in any software, much harder to use and not as versatile. Janus also has a Vedic module. You can see birth charts, any kind of divisional charts, transit charts, and Shripati charts all on the same screen. You can look at Dasha Bhuktis or Dasha Bhuktis Antars, a really good panchang that I helped them design, and compatibility according to the Vedic methods, and newly in version 6, a Dasha report. Now, I'll put the Dasha report where it's visible in one moment. And here's a Dasha report for the famous musician Adele. And notice that first you get her chart, and it's accurately calculated. You can adjust the what's called ayanamsha to the one you liking. And of course I could speak for hours about this woman, but it's a pretty outstanding chart in some very significant ways, including an exalted Mars as ruler of the chart in the 8th house. So can she go deep emotionally and otherwise? Absolutely. Courageously even. And then it tells you about Vedic astrology, how to use the report, and a little bit about introduction about dashas. And then it shows you where you started, in what planet and how far into one planetary cycle you started your life journey. And the beginning of your life journey has a huge influence on you, and that's the real focus of this report, which I wrote. And so it says the first dasha lord was the planet Ketu, and then it covers the moon's nakshatra, because the moon is always important in the calculation of dashas, and then the dasha of the first dasha lord, the nakshatra of the first dasha lord. And it goes on to talk about the ascendant nakshatra and the ascendant lord nakshatra, showing you in depth the influences upon you at birth. And then it goes into your current cycles, and what is the current lord, what is the current nakshatra of the current lord, how bright is the moon if it's the moon beginning it, and the current bhukti, and what areas are reinforced by the bhukti. People have told me the dasha report is quite useful, and it's now built into Janus 6. One thing that has frustrated me for a very, very long time is that the top programs have not interpolated stationary events, planetary stations, into their transit graphs. Why is this important? Well, you look at the transit graph and you see it's entering whatever your entry orb is, 1 degree, 2 degree, and then at some point you see it then exiting that orb, and you don't know where in the middle or beginning or end there was something that had the planet change direction. You just know there must have been a station somewhere. Janus is one of the first top programs to actually add stations to their transit graph. To access it, we first go to predictive, and then transit progressions and directions, and see it's for the chart we already selected. I'm not going to change any of the other features. I'm just going to click on calculate, and then I'm going to click on timeline. And notice something very amazing. In most programs, they would never show that Neptune's stationed in between two exact points. They might show that they would show a line there, but with no station. And the same with Saturn conjunct the midheaven. Saturn, for her chart, happens to station between two exact points, changing direction. Actually, several of them charts are affected by that. And so here's a very, very, very important Saturn station that affects 3 different transits that you would never even see in most software. So interpolating stations is really crucial, and now Janus has that feature. Another thing astrologers like to do is look at when are configurations happening in the sky. Grand trines or bucket handles or planets in a particular degree range. Well, they've added, the wonderful authors of Janus, an electional search. And they offer to let you save the searches and reload them. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to take Mars as a bucket handle and see, you can choose all different configurations. You can choose planets in signs, houses, aspects, aspect planet, patterns, chart shapes, dignity, sectors, degree ranges and degrees, the moon, 3 or 4 planets or a particular number of planets in a particular place, like a house or sign or whatever, predominances, midpoints, parents, lunar mansions, visibility, constellations. You can have a lot of different topics and select the planet that you want to use, or the star, or the Arabic part, or the summer half-sum, or the house cusp, or a specific zodiac position. Huge number of choices. There's even sign groups. In other words, for each of these categories, there's a whole lot of things. For instance, if we go to dignity, we see a huge list of dignities to choose from, to search for. But let's go to the chart shape. Let's choose a date over here. And yes, I did test this already. And then I'm going to click on search. And sure enough, they show you when specific searches, when Mars will be a bucket handle. And they even show you a preview chart. And you can look for the second period when that's happening, and it'll show you that preview chart. It's a very powerful, well-designed, in fact, beautifully designed module. As you know, astrologers like to explore all different kinds of techniques. And one thing that frustrated them is that most astrology programs will not let you animate transits to charts other than birth charts. But Janus 6 removes that restriction. You can do transits to composite charts, directed charts, progressed charts, return charts. Let me show you how that works. We would start by saying we want to look at a biwheel. And again, Adele is in the inside and the outside in this case. But we switch it to animate the outer chart. And let's say we don't want to look at her birth chart, we want to look at her return. So we click on Get Inner Chart, we click on Type, and let's say Return, since that's what we're looking for, and we see her returns, and we choose one of her solar returns. Let's choose the one that already happened to make sense in terms of transits. And so we want to look at what are the transits to her solar return chart. And we can either step through using the step function, one day at a time or whatever interval we want, and see how the transits one at a time affect, or we can automate it and have it just keep doing one day at a time while we sit back and watch. And we can always stop it whenever something looks really interesting to us. Well, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed my review very much, and I hope you enjoy the software a lot. Be well. Bye-bye.